I found out my best friend was lying about everything. Here's how it all unraveled. So, I need to get this off my chest. This is a long one, but I promise it's worth reading. I've been friends with Sarah for over 10 years. We met in high school and have been through a lot together, relationships, family drama, personal stuff. She's always been the type of person who's very charming, funny, and an adventurer in the sense that she's always trying new things and telling everyone about her wild experiences. But, lately, something felt off. It started about a year ago. Sarah had just come back from a month-long solo trip to Europe. She was posting these amazing photos on Instagram, showing off historic landmarks, delicious food, and local culture. Her captions were so detailed, telling stories about random encounters and hidden gems. But something about the way she spoke about it didn't sit right with me. For context, I've been to Europe multiple times, and I know the ins and outs of travel. She was mentioning places I know well, but she kept describing them in a way that seemed off. One example, she kept referring to a famous museum as hidden away and off the beaten path. But I'd been there on my last trip, and it was literally packed with tourists. I thought maybe she was just exaggerating for the sake of storytelling, but then she started dropping more and more weird details. For instance, she kept talking about this secret cafe she found in Paris where she'd supposedly sat down with an artist and had an in-depth conversation. The thing is, I knew that cafe didn't exist. I asked a couple of my friends who are more Paris-savvy, and they had never heard of it either. One day, I decided to push it a little further. I casually mentioned how cool it would be to see some of the photos from the trip, like the ones she took in a hidden alley in Venice. She was always so protective of her camera roll and would say things like, "Oh, I haven't uploaded those yet." That was the first red flag. No one who's just back from an amazing trip keeps their photos locked away. But she assured me she would share them soon. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my mind. The details weren't lining up. But what really pushed me to question everything came a few months ago. She came to me with a story about a new job offer she received at a company in California. She said she was going to move there soon and had been negotiating the salary and benefits. She even mentioned they were offering her a relocation package. Naturally, I was excited for her, but something seemed off. She started acting really weird about the move. She'd give me vague updates but would never let me meet any of her new coworkers or talk about the company she was supposedly going to work for. Then one day, I received a message from one of our mutual friends. She was reaching out to me because she had just seen a Facebook post from Sarah's supposed new job, and they were asking for someone to fill the position Sarah had accepted. The post was dated 3 months ago. So I did some digging. I called the company directly, and they told me that they had never heard of her. There was no record of a Sarah applying for any job, much less getting an offer. I was stunned. I confronted Sarah about this, and her reaction? She was calm, almost too calm. She told me, "I didn't want to disappoint you, but I've been going through a tough time with my mental health. I just wanted to tell you something to make me feel better." I was heartbroken, honestly. Over the course of the next few weeks, more lies began to unravel. The Europe trip? She hadn't gone at all. The job offer? Total fabrication. And the worst part, she had been lying to me for months about even simple things, like when we'd talk about plans for the weekend, and she'd say she was busy but was actually just staying at home, watching Netflix. In the end, I couldn't keep the friendship going. I confronted her one last time, and while she admitted she had lied, I realized I wasn't going to get the honest friend I thought I had back. I had to cut her off, and it was honestly the hardest decision I've ever made. I'm sharing this because I'm still processing everything. I never thought someone I trusted like that would lie about so many things. It wasn't just the big stuff like the job and the trip, it was all the little things, too. It makes me question if I ever really knew her at all. Has anyone else experienced something like this? It's crazy to think how convincing some people can be when they've got an entire persona built on lies.